2 years. It's been almost 2 years of the crypto bear. And if you survived, you deserve to enjoy the next 2 years of the crypto bull. This was the thought that I just had. I'm posting it right now. I just posted it on X, on the X app. And I want to discuss this and break it down on this Bitcoin chart. This applies to all of crypto. This is our roadmap. It's messy, but I promise what's happening here is simple, and I'm going to break it down very simply for you. So hit the subscribe on the way in. If you're still out there, everybody, it's a brand new week. Hit the like as well. I really appreciate your support. So let's do this. I first want to start here. Fear and greed index. This is what it's looking like in terms of Bitcoin 40. It's just there. You open up X app, you open up YouTube, you open up whatever in terms of crypto, and the fear is everywhere. I see so much negativity, and I also just see a lot of people have left. And here's what's striking me, and this is kind of where I got this idea to do this video, this kind of visualization exercise for me to kind of take that thought of what we just survived for the last 2 years and what's coming in the next 2 years, and just illustrate it on the screen. So let's do it right now in this video. So what we have going on in this chart is a lot, but let's first start here. Halvings, right? We know that the 2024 halving is approaching in spring of 2024. And what I really want to take note of is this. The bull market high, basically. This is Bitcoin chart. The charts look a little bit different. Something like Cardano ADA, which I'm actually going to allude to in this video as well. Cardano ADA, a big hold of mine. It applies to any crypto you're holding, what we're about to discuss. But ADA kind of topped out previous to Bitcoin, but they both topped out. And Bitcoin was almost 2 years ago. So this is back here in November 2021. And to give you an idea of the time frame here, 2 years is 730 days, right? So if we're looking from that bull market high to where 730 days is, this chart is doing 735 days. We're looking into November 2023, right? So this green, the beginning of this green box is a huge piece of this video that I want you to pay attention to. And also the end of the green box, that is 763 days. Now let's discuss what that is, because if you survived, we're not exactly at 730 days yet, right? But we're getting there, like a couple months away. November is the month. We know in terms of maybe something like September historically red. You can see on this chart. Look at the September column. Red, 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 red. Last green month was 6%, and that was back in 2016. So maybe it's going to be a red month for September. The point here on this Bitcoin chart, we are getting so close to bottoming in crypto. Fear is high. People are leaving. People are just giving up in terms of thinking that crypto is going to stick around. Now, let's talk about this box, the green box. So right around 730 days, that's the beginning of the green box. We go back to the bull market of 2017, and we look at the top there, 735 days, 730 days, just call it 2 years after that top, Bitcoin was bottoming. This was Bitcoin putting in a higher low from the bear market low. You can totally see how the worst was over way prior to even putting in the higher low, right? Way less than 2 years, but there was just a lot of volatility and unknown along the way. Put in a higher low here. Started making a move to the upside going into the halving. We know what happened here. Just this kind of out of the ordinary type of event. That's COVID on the charts. It threw off the charts. I'm convinced if that didn't happen, I don't say Bitcoin would keep going up like this, but I think Bitcoin at the very least would probably just consolidate sideways before the bull, right? And maybe even start the bull higher than price was when the bull actually started. So 735 days, right? So this is kind of where we get our reference point for this time around, 735 days from the current last, or I should say the previous bull market high. We go to the cycle before that, because I like taking all of the data, as much data as we can, and looking at time frames. The cycle before that, here's a bull market high of 2013. 784 days was really this last little higher low, right? And it was barely even just that big of a dip. What actually it was quite a large dip. It doesn't look huge, but it's quite a large dip. But that was just that last test of the 20-week moving average before just seeing higher highs and higher lows, even prior to the halving. 784 days after that bull market, right? And that's going back to 2013. So I took 784 days from that cycle, 735 days from the last cycle before Bitcoin really bottomed, put in that higher low, and just look. This is what gets me, everybody. And this is where, especially, listen, I've had positivity and optimism through the whole bear market, and that's just my personality, is what it is. I'm here long term. The plan is to survive a bear in the best way that I possibly can, and that's my approach. And everybody's approach to doing this is differently, but it's all mental, right? We knew a bear was coming. We were in the bear, and we knew we were in the bear, and now it's time to anticipate the next cycle. Is there a guarantee that it's going to happen? I say it all the time. No, we can't say there's a guarantee, but just look how obvious this chart is. So this green box is kind of just an average of the last 2 cycles when Bitcoin truly put in the higher low. And here we are. Just look at this. If we just take one of these time frames, let's just say this one, and just push it back from where we are from the last bull market high, 665 days or so, right? So let's put that back. 665 days. We're approaching the 730-day mark. We're approaching the 2-year mark. And it's so crazy, the timing of it, because, again, red September, of course. October's historically not terrible looking. We might have a nice little good October and then maybe another consolidation November, December. But where does that leave us? If we go back to that Bitcoin chart, here we are. November, green, December, green. That November, December area could be the area where Bitcoin bottoms. How exactly that looks, have no idea, right? Is Bitcoin just going to do this? I don't know, maybe. Test previous lows. Is Bitcoin going to have a red September, potentially something like this, the rest of September just kind of trickle down, have that green October, and then just bottom out here in November, December, maybe, before cruising to the upside, before the halving? I just want to throw this out there because I know I'm sounding maybe too bullish. Maybe Bitcoin just falls, right? The rest of this accumulation area into the halving, and maybe just this insanely terrible situation happens. I just sit here and I analyze historical data, what's typically happened, how these markets typically move. I take even macroeconomic data, that is to say 2024, right here on the chart, we start getting a Fed pivot. We have other things in play that we're not even talking about, these outlier type of things. The Bitcoin ETF, potentially. What if a spot Bitcoin ETF gets approved in the coming months? How does that affect this chart? What if the Coinbase versus SEC? What if Coinbase gains a leg? What if Coinbase gets a win? What if something bullish happens there? Vice versa, what if something bearish happens? But if something bullish happens, and we're going back to something like an ADA chart, we look at the altcoin charts, right? We know altcoins, just in these typical bear market environments, in these parts of the cycles, they don't perform well against Bitcoin. But just with the Bitcoin roadmap that we just looked at, I'm looking at something like ADA, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? Maybe September is going to be red. ADA is going to put in this new low for this cycle. I don't know what that looks like either, everybody. But all I'm analyzing right now, I'm not trying to exactly even time the bottom or guess what the bottom is, but all I know is this little square. I think the bottom is somewhere in here. How volatile and how ugly that looks, or how maybe not ugly that looks, I don't know. I just know from a time frame perspective, I'm really anticipating that the bottom is very likely soon. And if I were doing a video, and here we are in the last cycle, kind of time frame wise, back here, if I was doing a video on ADA back here saying I think the bottom is close, people probably thinking I'm crazy. And then what did ADA do? I mean, ADA was like 3 cents. It over doubled to like 7 cents, right? So that's what all of a sudden happens in crypto. And I don't know exactly how it's going to play out this cycle around, but here's that green box in terms of the Bitcoin context that we were just looking at in terms of the last 2 Bitcoin halvings. So we know ADA kind of bottomed out right at the end of this box, right? And check it out. Maybe ADA bottoms out at the end of this red box before cruising to the upside, similar to Bitcoin in this green area on this chart. So that's the charts, everybody. And I'm trying to zoom out a little bit, and we can zoom in on a Bitcoin chart. This is what we're looking at: continued consolidation, waiting for potential downside, which we just discussed, especially for September. I can keep updating and just tracking that, but how boring. I mean, look at the chart. I don't want to track it. It's not fun to even look at anymore. What I'm really trying to do is look at every possible perspective on the zoomed out macro chart, and any way that I look at it. And I'm just here for the long term. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it all just falls another 50, 80%. Who knows? I just know I'm here for it, right? So I'm trying to find hints on the charts. I'm trying to find data on the charts that suggest we're getting close. And why do I care about that? Because I just want to be mentally prepared. I really do. Because there were so many people all through this move that were like, what was I doing here? Why did I not prepare for the bull cycle? Here we are again. So many people have left. There's so much negativity. And there's going to be so many people, if we get a repeat in cycles, and this is an ADA chart, by the way, if this happens again, even if it's like this, ugly, just so much negativity, if ADA falls below 20 cents, it's going to be ridiculous. But even if it's just like this, right? Like what potentially could happen next, there, I think, will be a lot of people that say, why didn't I prepare? Why wasn't I here? ADA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, any altcoins out there that are going to perform well in the next cycle. It's been around 2 years for Bitcoin. And the 2 years after, historically, well, we know what those look like. And we're approaching this area. And if it happens again, I'm just saying, I want to be here for it. Those are my thoughts, everybody. Those are my thoughts to start off this week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I appreciate you. I really do. I say it a lot. I need to find a new way to say I appreciate you, but thank you. Hope you have a great start to your week. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.